Minglava, welcome back to MMTV weekly news programs. This week, we have a plan to present Myanmar domestic situations, starting off with the situation of interest between international countries and the difficulties that are currently being faced within Myanmar. My name is Nui Umao. Now we should start presenting the Myanmar affairs that happened during the week. As a summary news, we have the cyclone has been set as an orange level. About 2 million people are at risk of being affected by the storm. The ASEAN summit will mainly discuss regards on the issue of Myanmar. The ASEAN chairman said that the violence must stop immediately and the people must be protected. NUG said that the ASEAN Common Agreements was not implemented due to the military council. The 14th Citizen Obama Awards for 2023 was awarded to Jo Moton, Myanmar's permanent representative to the United Nations. The Way movie by singer Lilin, created with a mobile phone, won 3 awards. More than 400,000 refugees in the KNU territory need help. More than 5,000 local residents who came to avoid the storm that hit Laputa need extreme food aid. The news analyzed by Dr. Matthew Arnold, an independent policy researcher working on Myanmar, said that the help of China and Russia will not be able to save the military council. As for the first news, we have the cyclone has been set at an orange level and it's heading towards the Rakhine coast. The small storm that is forming in the Bay of Bengal has become a storm that can be named as Mocha storm, and it has been set at an orange level, and it has been announced that it is headed for the northern coast of Rakhine State. According to the pre-storm warning criteria, the orange classification means that it is approaching Myanmar, and when it is about to cross the coast in 12 hours, it will be classified as a red classification storm. When it hits the other coast, it would again be classified as a brown level storm. According to the announcement of the Rainfall Department under the Military Council at 7 a.m. on May the 10th, Cyclone Mocha could cross between Cox's Bazar in Bangladesh and Jaipur in Myanmar. U Win9, a well-known weather watcher on social media, said that the storm is currently at the storm level named 01B and has the highest possibility of reaching Sittwe City, citing information from the Global Disaster Warning and Cooperation System. He also said that the storm could have a maximum wind speed of 167 kilometers, 103.7 miles per hour when it entered Myanmar, and could affect up to 2 million people, so the World Disaster Warning and Cooperation System issued a red alert. According to the information released from that system, 2 million people in Rakhine State, Chin State, Magui Division, Zagai region could feel the risks of airstrikes. Therefore, in the south of Sittwe City, where the storm is expected to enter land, it is recommended that the people of coastal towns and villages near the Bangladesh border, such as Mangdo, should move to the highlands away from the storm as soon as possible before the May 12th. Due to the speed of the storm, Maymala Island, Hanji Island, Ngawang River, Pyabong River, and the Great Wadi River may be more affected by strong winds, as well as North Dagon, South Dagon, and East Dagon in the Rangoon region. He also said to be careful of tornadoes as well. In addition, the eastern part of Bago and Shan State, Kayah State's the Moso side may experience stormy winds, as well as in Naypyidaw, Mektila, Mandalay, and Magway, that we should be more careful in those dry areas. The Humanitarian and Disaster Management Department of the National Unity Government (NUG) announced on the night of May 10 that according to estimate until yesterday evening, the northern region of the Rakhine Coast, Sittwe district, has a high risk of disaster due to the storm. Currently, according to information released by meteorologists and the Rainfall Department, people living in Rakhine, which is likely to be affected by the storm, the Irrawaddy region, Rangoon Delta region, and coastal area have been evacuating for the past few days. Coming up next, we have about 2 million Burmese people are at risk of being affected by the storm. The Department of Meteorology and Hydrology issued a warning on the morning of May 11 that the low-pressure area in the Bay of Bengal has become a stronger Mocha cyclone and is moving towards the coast of Rakhine State and Bangladesh. According to the Gorge at 6 a.m. on May 11, the depressions in the southeastern Bay of Bengal has moved north and west and has become a stronger cyclone Mocha. The statement said that Mocha storm is centered in the ocean about west of Coco Island City in Myanmar and about 365 nautical miles to the southwest, west of Nainji Island City about 475 nautical miles to the west, Sidway City south 615 nautical miles to the southwest. People before the storm hits, they collect food and water. The Global Disaster Warning and Cooperation System, GDACS, has issued a red warning on April 11 that 2 million people in Myanmar will be affected by the storm. According to the statement of GDACS, due to the storm, the population of Rakhine State was 930,000. Chin State has a population of 210,000. 17,000 people in Magway and 440,000 people in Sagai were warned that they could be affected by this dangerous storm. On to the next one, we have the ASEAN Summit will mainly discuss regards on an issue of Myanmar. An AFP report on May 9 stated that the ASEAN Summit to be held this week will focus on Myanmar issue. The ASEAN Summit will be held on the Indonesian island of Flores from May 9 to 11. The news also reported that a statement containing strong condemnation of the aerial attacks on civilians and demands for an immediate end to terrorist acts by the Myanmar Military Council is expected to emerge from this conference. According to AFP News, in order to hold a dialogue involving all stakeholders in Myanmar, the draft statement planned to be issued after the conference also states that terrorist acts need to stop first. Myanmar military leader General Min Aung was banned from attending this conference due to the lack of compliance with ASEAN demands. Last Friday, Indonesian Foreign Minister, who is the chairman of ASEAN, said that he is secretly discussing with all stakeholders, including the military council and NUG government, to resolve this Myanmar issue. Coming up next, we have the ASEAN chairman said that the violence must stop immediately and the people must be protected. Human rights violation cannot be tolerated in a military-ruled Myanmar. Indonesian President Joko Widodo, the chairman of ASEAN, said today that violence must stop immediately and the people must be protected. He spoke at the meeting of the leaders of the country on the second day of the ASEAN summit being held in Labuan Bajo, Indonesia. He also said that Indonesia is ready to discuss with any relevant group to achieve peace in Myanmar. Dialogue means support or not recognize, he added. President Joko Widodo said that the Burmese Military Council did not implement the 5 common agreements agreed upon the ASEAN 2 years ago. Frankly, there has not been much progress in implementing the 5 common agreements. Therefore, we need the unity of all ASEAN members to decide on the next steps, said President Joko Widodo. ASEAN Secretary General Dr. Kao Kim Hoon also said that in order to stop the violence, providing humanitarian assistance and discussion among all relevant groups are at the basic activities for the military council engagements. The ASEAN side has a strong desire to help Myanmar, but it is not easy. It is fundamental to stop violence, he told the writers on the sidelines of the conference. There are differences of opinion among ASEAN member countries on how to deal with the Myanmar problem. Meanwhile, ASEAN member countries take the Myanmar crisis seriously, but we need to act together as a great power. Malaysian Foreign Minister Sambri Abdul Kadir told the Reuters News. All ASEAN members want to find a solution that will bring peace to Myanmar, and that peace must be sustainable, he said. Up next, we have NUG said that the ASEAN Common Agreement was not implemented due to the Military Council. The reason why the ASEAN Common Agreement cannot be implemented is because of the failure of the Military Council, and the place where the ASEAN support vehicle was attacked in Shan State is where the army of the Military Council and its allies are active, said a spokesperson of the National Unity Government. The NUG, National Unity Government, welcomed the ASEAN Southeast Asian Nations Association efforts to implement the 5 ASEAN Common Agreements. However, because the Military Council failed to implement this common agreement, violence in Myanmar has increased, according to a person authorized to speak to the NUG. Jozo said, I've said this during this ASEAN summit in Indonesia and whether ASEAN and NUG are ready to cooperate. He also said that they're also discussing with Indonesia, the current rotating chairman of ASEAN. We also welcome the ASEAN Common Agreement and we are also ready to cooperate. Because the Military Council did not implement it, there is more violence in Myanmar. As for us, we welcome the discussion of the ASEAN group. We are also discussing with Indonesia, the current chairman of ASEAN. We also welcome ASEAN efforts to help solve Myanmar crisis. He also said that the international community is urging the implementation of this common agreement in solving the Myanmar problem, and that it will be effective if the framework is prepared in relation to failure in practice. The ASEAN Common Agreement is a good foundation, but to expand better than that, we need to fix the framework. Practical, you will need to develop a measurable action plan. It will also have a time frame, and I believe that this is the only way to achieve real success. Another thing is that the violence of the military council is creating a bigger problem, not only in the entire region. Therefore, we should work not only in ASEAN but also in ASEAN plus ways with friendly countries, he said. For the next news, we have the Section Committee announced that the 14 Citizens of Burma Award for 2023 was awarded to Ujong Moton, Myanmar's permanent representative to the United Nations. He said that it was given to Ujong Moton, who led and represented the CDM activists, as a commemoration to honor the public servants who fought against the military coup. Since 2009, the Citizen of Burma Award organization has selected and awarded individuals from the community who have been actively participating in social activity through self-sacrifice, and this is the 14th time. In the past year, in addition to the Citizens of Burma Award, additional awards were usually included if necessary, but this year, due to the various situations faced during the Spring Revolution in Burma, only one Citizen of Burma Award was chosen and honored. Along with this 14th honor, the selection committee has announced that they will provide support to war victims in Burma. In 2021, the Citizen of Burma Award was given to Burmese people who participated in the Burmese Spring Revolution, and in 2022, it was reported that various revolutionary groups that opposed the coup were honored and supported. The Public Honor Award ceremony will be held at the Performing Arts Center of the United States on May 21st, under the responsibility of Los Angeles branch of the United States. The Citizen of Burma Award has been awarded annually since 2010, and it is an award given by expatriates in Myanmar to those who have sacrificed themselves for the sake of society in Myanmar. U Jodu, the chairman of the Funeral Society, was the first recipient of the Citizen of Burma Award. It was also given to social workers and social organizations. Up next, we have The Way movie by singer Lin created with a mobile phone won 3 awards. Singer Lin's The Way movie won Best First-Time Director Features and Best Song, including the Best Musical Film Award at the prestigious International Film Corporation. The movie was made by artists who crossed the international border and took refuge in Thailand due to the arrest of the military junta in a country active in the fighting for democracy. The prestigious International Film Competition represents monthly awards to promote indie films and gender equality films. The Way also won 3 awards at the World Film Carnival Singapore, another international film festival. Mat Chathuway wrote on her personal Facebook page that The Way, which is a musical film, has won 3 awards, including the Best Musical Film Award, the Best First Director Award, and the Best Song Award. They also said that they were indeed happy to have won such a national film award, even though they had to try and shoot this film with a mobile phone, despite the lack of equipment and many difficulties. Singer Lillian and Chathuway were wanted by the military junta because they opposed the military coup, and their homes were also illegally sealed off under the Terrorism Act. And to top it off, I am also honored to be a part of the film The Way. So congratulations to all the team members and the directors, Lillian and Chathuway, of course. For the next one, we have more than 400,000 refugees in the KNU territory need help. The Karen National Union, the KNU, announced today that there are more than 400,000 refugees who have taken refuge in KNU-controlled areas due to the fighting and human rights violation by the military council troops in the more than 2 years since the military coup was present. In addition, due to the daily fighting and human rights violations by the military council forces, over 100,000 residents have lost their workplaces and are facing difficulties with their livelihoods. In addition to their normal needs, refugees face more difficulty because the military council is strictly checking and prohibiting the transportation of food and medicine, said one of the people helping refugees in current state. In a situation where war refugees are facing more difficulty due to the military council cut-and-dry strategy, the war refugee also urged international organizations to legally provide humanitarian aid. According to the data of ISP Myanmar, which monitors and publishes the fighting and the after effects of the military coup from the time of the coup to April 20 of this year, The number of refugees from the civil war has increased to almost 2,700,000. Since before the military coup in Myanmar in 2021, there have been around 500,000 internal war refugees, and after the coup, nearly 2,700,000 have been added, bringing the current number of war refugees to more than 3 million across the country, according to ISP Myanmar. The Karen National Union (KNU) has been providing monthly food for 85,000 people since January of this year. He also said that they are faced with insufficient shelter and medicine for a place to sit. It is also mentioned that those who will support the necessary humanitarian assistance for the people fleeing the war are welcome, and if there is anything they need to know to assist, they should contact the Information Center. In the KNU control area, fighting has been going on every day this year, and it has been reported that there's been 1,642 battles between the military group and the KNU forces in 4 months. 4 battalion commanders were on the side of the military council during the 4 months of fighting. He said that a total of more than 1,700 soldiers of the Military Council Army and Border Guard (VGF), including 5 deputy battalion commanders, were killed and nearly 1,200 were injured. In the next year, we have more than 5,000 local residents who came to avoid the storm that hit Laputa and need extreme food aid. From May 6 to May 9, more than 5,000 local residents came to Laputa town to escape the storm and needed food and shelter assistance, according to people helping to avoid the storm in Laputa town in the Irrawaddy region. The local people who came to Laputa town were from the Foreign Village group. According to the social support groups, the villages of Salusake village and Gwinbauk are local people, and most of them live with close acquaintances of the monastery. These fleeing the storm have to cook and eat by themselves and take refuge in monasteries and schools. General Zor Minturn, spokesman of the military council, said on May 8 through the military council newspaper that 118 disaster-stricken buildings have been built in Irrawaddy and 17 more are under construction. The Department of Meteorology and Hydrology of the Military Council announced this morning on May 10 that the small storm occurring in the southeast of the Bay of Bengal has moved to the northwest and has become a powerful cyclone. It is also said that a strong storm could move towards the Bangladesh-Myanmar coast, so the orange level has been set in the area. Last but obviously not the least, we have the news analyzed by Dr. Matthew Arnold, an independent policy researcher working on Myanmar, said that the help of China and Russia will not be able to save the military council. Whether the international community helps or not, the Burmese revolution will surely win because of the people of Burma, and the help of China and Russia will not save the military council, according to Dr. Matthew Arnold, an independent policy researcher who has been working in Myanmar since 2012, in Mazima's interview. If you compare the PDF with the support of the public and the increasing number of weapons, the People's Revolution with the full support of the people. On the other hand, there are debts and the lack of support for new weapons, as well as the loss of the territory. The success or failure of the Burmese Revolution depends on Burmese. As if no one was going to give the revolutionary forces anti-aircraft shoulder-fired grenades, R2P will not happen either. But even without that, the People's Armed Revolution is winning. The revolution has already won, said Dr. Matthew Arnold. In addition, it's been analyzed in detail that if the armed revolution, which is gaining momentum through the country, can be maintained at this rate, the terrorist military council will fall from the state of gradual collapse from various parts of the country. To conclude, everyone, this is a recap of the news that we have gathered this week, and every day Myanmar is still trying to restore democracy and the basic human rights in many various ways. Therefore, as the people all over the world, as well as each country in the world who's looking at this or watching this news, we would like to urge everyone to help us restore the democracy and the basic human rights in relation to the Myanmar issues. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next week. My name is Nui Umar.